you for the question. I wouldn't dispute her version, but I can safely say that no statement was removed in the docket purposely and not returned. The statements that are alleged to be missing from the testimony of General Motsepe, all those statements are accounted for. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. So you prepared the dockets, and then you say you did this pre-handover audit where you had a table in which you recorded the status of the docket, and you described that in paragraph 16. And you've explained why you did so. You said you did so that you could have for yourself your own record and you could answer questions later on if questions were put to you about the dockets.
Yes.
And is that what you're talking about? That's at NPK1, is that correct? If you can turn to NPK1.
That is correct, Commissioners. As I was in Pretoria, during that telephone conversation with my TAC commanders, I told them that let's prepare this. And this was in corroboration with me because I need not to be there as I was here for other taskings. And I told them that we need to compile this as it's going to assist us going forward.
So in this table that you prepared, and it's for each of the 121 dockets, the last column, well, maybe for the record, I should just say the columns are the docket number, the station and CAS number, a summary of the background of the case, evidence collected, suspects identified, and then the last column is remarks or outstanding. Remarks stroke outstanding. What is that last column reflecting?
This is a summary of what needs to be done to continue or making sure that the docket can be taken for further guidance to the prosecutors and subsequently getting the authority to go and effect arrest. So that is some of the outstanding investigation that needed to be executed.
And this is what you noted in March 2025?
Indeed, Commissioners.
Thank you. So you hand over the dockets. Before we just get to the 26th of March and the transporting of the dockets, once these dockets are now removed from the investigating officers, did they have any further role to play in the docket or any further investigation on any of the dockets?
No, Commissioners. The detection, they will not have any further role to play because the dockets are not physically with them. The only thing that they can do is just telephonically, because when you investigate a docket, you sometimes build that relation professionally, so with the victims' families and certain witnesses which prefer or feel protected, if not safe, when they deal with a particular member only. Therefore, that's what they will do. And I must say, in some other instances, that it was not a happy ending, because I think there's a part where we're dealing with victims' family that were not satisfied by moving of these dockets.
Okay, so in paragraph 17, you explained that the dockets were then transported on the 26th of March. What you say is were securely transported to the head office. Who transported them and who handed them over
Okay.
to General Sentumule?
The dockets were transported from KwaZulu-Natal by 2 combat members, commissioners for their safety, can I not mention their names? And they were then handed to me. Then on the same day, because I had to rush to the airport to catch a flight to KZN, I handed them to the office of General Khumalo on the same of the day of the 26th. That was the last time I touched the dockets, 26 March.
So you delivered them to the office of General Khumalo on the 26th, and what happened after that you were not involved in, the further handover to General Sentimule?
Correctly so, Commissioners.
Okay. And you had no further, contact with the dockets or investigation or work or nothing? You had nothing more to do with the dockets from that day?
Indeed, the Commissioners, I must also just emphasize that from KwaZulu-Natal, I handed 118 dockets. There were 3 dockets, 2 Umtata dockets and 1 Alice docket that were from Eastern Cape, were not handed by that time. And I communicated with the team that was in Eastern Cape and informed them that they should ensure that those dockets are brought to head office. And indeed, though they arrived late, 23 April, the dockets were brought to head office. I saw a letter of receival, and they were subsequently sent to or transferred to the office of Divisional Commissioner, Forensic and Detective General Sentimule as well. So that then made the total number to be 121.
Okay, then there's a hiatus of 5 months from the end of March to the end of August. Can you tell us what happens on the 27th and 28th of August?
I think there is, if one has flew, catch a flight, more especially the route between Johannesburg and Cape Town, there's quite a lot of turbulence. And when you hit that moment of turbulence and your flight moves from a certain level, goes down, the moment it reaches the air again and it starts to flow, you feel uncertain. And ask yourself, what is actually happening? Is the pilot safe? Are we safe? You look around and so forth. It was that moment, because we didn't know that we're going forth, back and all that, but we had confidence in our executive officials that a proper decision will then be taken, because nothing happened between that period on these under investigation dockets. Nothing at all.
You got the dockets back
Yes.
in August.
Yes.
Let's just start there before we talk about what happened in the 5 months. So were you then tasked to go to head office to collect the dockets? Is that what happened?
Commissioners, thank you. I received a call again from General Khumalo on the 25th of August, informing me that there will be a 2-day handing over of the same docket that was brought down to head office. And a venue and time has been arranged for that process to take place. I then phoned PKTT members and requested 2 of the branch commanders and 1 other member to come and join me for that process to take place. I think one had about 2 days at least, and could make means and ensure that the process this time around is more professional. And we are able to account for everything that we are doing. Then on the 27th, we gathered at a venue that was identified, and myself, my 3 members from PKTT, and 3 members from head office, consisting of the kennels. We sat down and we started the process of handing back the dockets to PKTT. We started by counting the dockets physically before we can go to statement by statement if they are still intact. Mind you, commissioners, that we made copies before the dockets could come. And we were comparing that with what we are getting. Because before we started that process, I informed one of the kennels that, kennels, this is the process that we are going to do. And the kennel said, no, but then, Khumalo, this is not what we did on the 28th of March, when the dockets were handed to the Office of Generals in Tumula. I said, I was not there. Therefore, the process of handing over, I need to account for each and everything. This is the process that we are going to do. That is why it took us 2 days. And I think even the senior officers, for them to allocate 2 days, they anticipated for that. Or else, we could have just came there and say, these are the docket, 121, we leave. But because we went into depth of those particular inspection, that is why we could then pick up that instead of 121, there was actually 123 dockets. How then we get to 123 is because the other 2 dockets were very slim and they were in between the docket, one docket itself. They were in between them. So that is why we couldn't, because of the rush. I guess even head office, because they were like, no, it can't be. We got 121 dockets, but then we are getting 123. And they accepted that.
So, hold on, let me pause you there. You're saying now, in August, when you are inspecting the dockets being returned to you, there are 123.
Yes.
Those 2 additional dockets were slipped into others because they were these slim folders. Yes. But were they originally there in March when they were given to the head office?
Surely they were there. It's unfortunate that we never picked them up because according to our categories, those dockets were filed as closed. They were not supposed to come down because they were not under investigation.
They were closed files already.
Yes. So
the head office hadn't picked that up either.
Head office didn't pick that up because they were also amazed that there is 2 extra dockets during that process. But then one might say that it was one of those oversight issues. Then we sat down, commissioners, and we started with the process of handing over. And through the handing overs, one must mention that there is comments that were noted and fairly so by the head office team in respect of the investigation that was conducted by the PKTT. If I can draw the commissioners on page 10 of my statement. Under paragraph 22.2, where I mentioned, can I read that in record? Most of the docket were audited. 92 were audited and audit notes recorded in the C-clip of the docket. 31 dockets were not audited and notes were not found in those dockets. This is one of some of the assessments that we picked up. I would like also to read on record the next paragraph, which is 22.3. No work was conducted on any of the docket except one. Docket Mtata 286 of 4/2022 matter received attention. Maybe the commissioners might ask, what is Khumalo referring to? I'm saying this because according to the investigation diary, which is an SAP 5, this case, in May 2025, Lieutenant Colonel Kenene contacted Lieutenant Colonel Siatula. I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly, commissioners. Siatula, Lieutenant Colonel Potwana, Lieutenant Colonel Odendal, of whom these are all previous IOs that handled this case before it was reassigned to PKTT. He also introduced himself to the family of the deceased, and I must put it on record that no investigation was conducted. Because if investigation was conducted, we will have seen the statement or the C-clip having that statement obtained from witness A or person of interest and so forth, or correspondence on the B-clip that call data has been applied for an application of the call data and so forth. Therefore, this docket was not investigated at all.
Can I pause you there?
Yes.
When you're saying that of the 123 dockets, only 92 were inspected, audited and inspected.
Yes.
Because there seems to be a difference between an audit and inspection. So are you saying only 92 had inspection notes?
Correctly so,
Okay.
commissioners.
All right, and then I just want to take you to NPK2, because that's a table that you also put together with your team, as I understand it.
I'm on NPK2.
So NPK2 is a table, and it lists all of the dockets, and the last column says comments. Now, the comments that are transcribed in this column for each docket, are those the comments that were made by the inspection officers at the head office?
Indeed, commissioners.
Okay. And so, just to be clear for the commission, if we were to just take an example, maybe we can just go to the first docket in the bundle of dockets. Commissioners, that's NPK3, but it's a separate bundle that you have in front of you. So if we take the first docket on page 1, and that's an Alice case, what do we see on page 1?
This is a cover docket which entails the case number, the investigating officer, and all the offenses or instrument used to commit a crime.
Okay, and then if we turn to page 2, this is not the second page of the docket technically, as I understand it. This comes from the C-clip.
Correct.
Is that right?
That's right, Commissioner.
And we know that because it says C-26 in the box at the top of the page. Does that mean C-clip page 26?
Correct, Commissioner.
Okay. And so, and if we turn over the page, again, it says it's on page 3 of the bundle, but it's C-clip page 27.
Yes, Commissioner.
So these are the last 2 pages of the C-clip, is that right?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay. And if we look at the last page, that's on page 3. Where do we see the inspection notes of head office?
There is no inspection on, from the head office team.
0217.
It's unfortunate, the name of the member, it's a little bit, I can't see, but then I can tell that is Detective Warrant Officer
Okay,
that
so,
conducted this.
so this is an example of a docket that had not been inspected by the head office.
Yes, Commissioners.
So maybe, can we just try the next?
Maybe before you do that, can I just check something? Colonel, this docket, I think the evidence, maybe let me ask you to confirm. Is this one of the dockets that you received in 2023, the PKTT? Because I think the evidence of General Motsipe is you got the Eastern Cape dockets in 2023.
Yes, October 2023.
So this would be one of them.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. Now, right at the top of that page 1, in the middle column, so the first column says Alice, and then you've got the case number in the middle column, and it's a 206-12-2012. What are those numbers there, if you are to explain them? 206, 12, and then 2012.
That is the serial number, the first number, 206. It's a serial number of the case per month. Each and every month, case numbers start from 1. And then they will go up until end of the month. And then the second number there is a month when this case was registered. And then the last digits, it's the year when the crime was committed.
So,
Therefore, this particular matter happened on the month of February 2012.
and where does one see when this docket was first opened?
That will be on the MA. It's unfortunate, Commissioners, we don't have example of that, because on that particular document, that's where you get the name of the complainant, contact number, where the incident happened, and the time. But then even on this one, if you can look on the, you see on your left-hand side of the cover docket, Commissioner.
Yes.
There is a number starting with 071. Beneath it, there is an ink, a red ink.
Yes.
Underneath that, you will see it will be date and time of offense or incident. And then it says then 2012 month. I think there the person that was writing there made, oh yeah, it's 12, which is the 12th month. I made a mistake when I said second is 12th month. And then the date, it was the 30th, and then that is 30th of December. Commissioner, are you still following?
Yes.
And then time, it happened at, I don't know if my eyes are correct there, 0100.
Yes.
It was on o'clock early hours.
Yes. So this is when the incident happened.
That is when the incident took place.
Okay. Now, if you go, and maybe let me tell you why I'm asking the question.
Yes, Commissioner.
You confirm that you would have received this docket, or the PKTT.
Yes.
Would have received this docket in 2023. Now, we've had evidence that you had done no work. The PKTT had done no work at all with this docket, and that's why I'm asking the question that I'm going to ask. If you look still at that page 1, the very last block which says finding result of trial, you see that?
This is now on my,
This is on the cover.
Okay.
I'm still on the cover. Right at the bottom,
yes, at the bottom, yes, Commissioner.
you've got that last block which says finding, the heading. is
Yes.
Finding/result. In the middle, it's got court dates. Are you able to make out what that date is there? 1910
10, I don't know if it's 12 or
or
it's
17.
Looks like
17.
2017.
2017.
Yes.
Yes. So I think what I'm wanting to establish with you is you get a docket in 2023, but this docket, in fact, goes back at the earliest 2017 when it was in court. So it's an old docket by the time it comes to you.
A very old docket, Commissioner. And maybe one should also emphasize on this was not one of the main dockets that the team in Eastern Cape were there for. It's a case that the team was informed by one of the complainants within the university that there is a docket whereby there was an attack on the staff. And we don't know what happened with that case. And we said, let's throw the docket and we look at it and see if there's anything that we can work on with it.
Yes.
Therefore, it didn't get much of attention because the Eastern Cape team worked with speed and was able to arrest quite a lot of people. And it's only 2 IOs. And the magnitude that was put in that particular investigation at the university is huge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. I just want, just for the sake of clarity, you're saying that this wasn't what you call a main case.
Yes.
This was a docket that you drew into your pool
Yes, Commissioner.
in order to assist with investigation of the main case.
Yes, Commissioner.
So what is the status then of this case as we sit here?
The docket is provincially withdrawn. From the last time we look at the system. One must also, commissioners, bring you on board that every time there is a movement on the docket, if a suspect is being arrested, the IO and the branch commanders, they must ensure that the system is being updated. This is now the police system. There is certain system that are being applied. I'm not going to put myself on the corner because that is now the detective work to update the system. 2, when the matter goes to court and is remanded for a future date, and the reason for that reminding must also be updated on the system. Therefore, that always, because this is assist in head office monitoring, happens that the case is being moved from this particular IO to another one, you will be able to see as well on the system where was the investigation, what was happening on the investigation. Therefore, this case was provincially withdrawn, and when we look at it as well, we saw that it's not going to assist us at all in our investigation, and not much was then done on it because we could see that whatever that we went for in East London, we were able to address, which were the killings within the University of Fort Hare. And as a plus, numerous cases, or one case with a lot of suspect or accused, then was registered and people were arrested on the corruption and fraud charges.
That was over and above the charges you were there to investigate.
Indeed, commissioners.
Okay, so thank you. You've clarified that docket, which is the first one in the bundle for Alice. Can we please turn to the second docket? And this one is on page 4, and it's an Amanzim Toti case.
Yes, commissioners.
Okay, so the first page is the cover page of the docket, we now know. The next page is from the C-clip.
Yes, Commissioner.
So it looks like the last 2 pages of the C-clip have been reproduced in each of these sets.
Indeed.
So page 6, is that the last page then of the C-clip?
It is the last page, Commissioners.
And if we look at, can you actually explain, we've got about 3 entries here, it seems. The first one in black at the top, then the second in red, that's in March 25, and then there's another set of notes in a different handwriting below that in red. Can you just explain each of those entries?
Let me first explain that from the 4 categories I spoke about, Commissioners, political, ad hoc, parallel, and traditional. This is one of the dockets or cases that falls under traditional leaders cases. And when we received this docket in April, it was quite a lot of them, 50 of them. And 48 it was murder, 1 kidnapping, 1 attempted murder. Therefore, whilst we were busy investigating the political related cases, we received this mandate. And we couldn't investigate all of them at a time. There's 5 dockets that received attention, and we were able to take those 5 dockets to court. There's one already whereby suspect has been convicted. Therefore, this is part of the dockets that haven't received any investigation. What we did, it was the analysis. Just like when I said from the head office team that they went through the docket of Umtata 286. As I was saying, there was no investigation done because no additional statement was attached on the docket. Just like this. Investigator, that is on 2025-03-24, she's addressing that those instructions to the branch commander. And then on the 25, then the branch commander also made an entry. And I don't know if I should read this on record.
Sorry, just before you go to the 20, so 24 March, the investigating officer makes an entry saying that she's received instructions on this docket and it will be complied with. Does that come from the analysis, the team meeting, or where does that come from?
This comes from the analysis, which we, as I alluded earlier on, that when we got this docket, we sat down. What we did, Commissioners, we first tried and see, can we, with all the analysts, look at what is still outstanding, critical evidence, your ballistic report, your LCRC report. And on a ballistic report, can we group these dockets and see which firearms, which cases are related or a certain firearm was used on? When I speak about firearms, we've got rifles, we've got 9mm, we've got shotguns and all that. But then with the grouping then, we said on the rifle, we've got ballistics experts that are able to tell that on this particular rifles, there's 2 groupings.
Colonel, I'm sorry to interrupt you, and it is interesting, and maybe we can return to it. But yeah. For now, the purpose, what I'm just trying to understand what happened here. This investigating officer, after a meeting that you've already described how those meetings work and how the analysis works, received those instructions or taskings.
Yes.
And she says instructions noted and will be complied with, right?
Yes.
But she doesn't enter what those particular taskings are. Is that contained somewhere else?
Yes, we do have those taskings on our daily tasking report and weekly report.
Okay. So she makes this entry on 24 March 2025.
Yes, Commissioners.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Then you can move on to the next one. The next entry is the next day.
Yes, this is now the branch commanders that is preparing the docket, because if you look at it, it's on the 25th. This is the day when I phoned and told them that prepare the docket, they need to come down to head office. Then the officer that did the inspection is giving that entry that officer in charge, because he doesn't know who's going to deal with the matter. The investigation has not yet commenced. Here we've received docket for perusal and for your directives.
Okay. So that entry is made by the PKTT officer.
Indeed,
Okay.
Commissioners.
The next entry then. Can you tell us the date and who made this entry and what it's about?
This is the entry of a lieutenant colonel in head office. Can I not mention his name? Because I think
That's
it's
fine.
visible enough. And the entry was done on the 19th of March, 2025.
Is that March or May?
Oh, sorry, it's May. Sorry, the ink is not visible enough here. It's May. And then he's then giving an instruction. Firstly, say, IO, docket for further investigation. Obtain the photo album and file it in the docket. Obtain the chain statement regarding the handling of the body. Obtain the body identification statement. Obtain the statement, the chain statement from that person that he's mentioning regarding the 2 bullet heads received from mortuary. And then the 6th instruction there is obtain the chain statement regarding the handling of the bullet. And then the 7th, obtain the duty officer statement from that particular captain. And then the last one was then obtain ballistic report. So these are all the entries that are made by an officer in head office.
Okay. So each of these dockets, those that were inspected, would have this kind of entry on the last page of the C-clip. Is that right?
That's right. The 92 that were inspected will have such.
And it would be May 2025, between 19 and I think the 30th or something.
Yeah, between 19 and 25, if I'm not mistaken, of May.
Okay. And all of these comments you say